Hey everybody, Andy Stickle here. I was talking to a client today and they were saying that they were getting a lot of phone calls, but most of the phone calls were broke. They were saying they didn't have any money. So what I told that client is that there's a very simple way to handle this. And the first thing you have to do is you have to change your mindset. You have to understand that nobody wants to spend money, but nobody expects to call a lawyer and expects that lawyer to work for free either. So you have to accept that people do have money. Even if they tell you they don't, they're lying. They have loans, they have personal credit cards, they have family members that can loan them money if necessary. So that's kind of the first thing you have to do is you have to stop believing people when they tell you that they have no money. And the very simple solution and the very simple response to the I have no money objection is, well, isn't that why you're here in the first place? So for example, if they have a DUI, then you could say, well, you don't have any money, but how do you plan to make money if you don't have a car, if you can't drive to work? How do you plan to make money if you lose your job because you get convicted of a DUI? If it's a family law attorney or a family law client, you can say, well, how do you plan to keep all this money that you supposedly don't have? But how do you plan to have money in the future if you don't hire a lawyer to make sure that you're not paying way too much money than you should be in child support? Or how do you plan to ensure that you're actually getting the child support that you need and the child support that you deserve if you don't hire a lawyer? You're simply not going to achieve that result in the future. So it's much cheaper now, whether it's a DUI or a criminal defense charge or a bankruptcy. You can even say, hey, listen, how do you plan to buy a house and fix your credit in the future if you don't hire a lawyer now to take care of all this debt and get you on the right path and go through the bankruptcy process or go through the credit repair process or whatever it happens to be. So what you simply have to do is you just have to take the objection of I don't have any money and turn that into, well, if you want to have money in the future, then you need to find the money so that you can hire a lawyer now. This works really well when you kind of use this mindset. It kind of helps. It helps people realize, oh yeah, I kind of do need to hire a lawyer now because I'm going to save a lot more money in the future. And again, nobody wants to spend money. Everybody hates parting with their money. I hate parting with my money. And actually another thing that's kind of an interesting psychological trick that you can use, and I do this on presentations. If you notice, if anyone who's gone through my webinar for my masterclass, immediately after I drop the price, I throw my best testimonial that I have in there. So what you could do is when you tell them the price, you could say, this will cost you about $3,000 for my firm to represent you, and then throw in a story about a client that you help. So, you could say something like, well, it probably costs about $3,000 for my firm to represent you. And actually, we have a lot of experience with cases like this. In fact, just recently, we went to the DMV hearing for a client who was kind of in the same scenario as you, and these were the results that we got for him. So obviously, not saying it's going to happen for you, but these are different things that we've achieved for clients in the past. So if you can figure out some sort of way to drop some sort of positive experience or some sort of testimonial, I know you can't, you obviously can't just pull out your phone and say, here's a testimonial from a client. But basically, if you can do something that justifies that price immediately after you tell them the price, you're going to have a lot of success. That's what we do in presentations all the time. Whenever we do we call it a price drop. Whenever there's a price drop, you always follow it with an immediate success story because people hate parting with their money. So just a quick tip. It's a common complaint that we get a lot of times, people saying nobody has any money. Well, yeah, your services are not cheap, with the exception of personal injury, who it's contingent based. If you're a criminal defense lawyer, bankruptcy lawyer, these are expensive services, and a lot of times they're unexpected expenses as well. So people do not necessarily want to spend money, and they might not necessarily have the money, but that doesn't mean they can't get the money. So keep that mindset and go ahead and get those clients.